Man, you're obsessed with that car. Emily laughed, leaning against the hood. Sometimes I think you love it more than me. I wiped the side mirror with a rag and glanced at her. That car took me 3 summers of sweat to buy. You just happened to come along after. She rolled her eyes. Wow, thanks for the romance, Mark. You make me feel so special. I didn't mean it like that, I said quickly. This car's proof I'm not stuck. Proof I can work for something better. Emily traced her fingers along the hood like it was silk. Well, you did good. Everyone stares when we drive by. Jason practically breaks his neck every time he sees us. The mention of Jason made my jaw tighten. Let him stare. He's had everything handed to him since birth. For once he can watch someone else shine. Emily smirked. Don't act like you don't care. You hate him. Of course I hate him, I muttered. He struts around like he owns the school, like he owns every girl who looks his way. She tilted her head. You mean like me? I paused, cloth still in my hand. Don't joke about that. Her laugh was light, careless. Relax, Mark. You're so easy to wind up. I tried to smile, but something in her tone unsettled me. Chris's voice carried across the lot. You polishing that thing again, man? I swear if you ever get married, you'll spend your honeymoon buffing the fenders. Better than ending up in your beat-up truck? I shot back. Chris laughed, clapping me on the back. Fair, but don't forget, your car doesn't hug you when you're down. Emily crossed her arms. He's fine with me. I hug him. Chris raised a brow. You sure? I think sometimes you hug the attention more than you hug him. Her smile froze. Excuse me? I stepped between them. All right, knock it off. He's just kidding. Chris shrugged, but his eyes stayed sharp. Sure, just saying what everyone thinks. Emily's lips pressed tight. Everyone thinks wrong. I changed the subject fast. So, Emily, you still want me to take you to the party Friday? Her face brightened instantly. Of course. In the car, right? You know everyone looks when we roll up. Chris gave me a look, but I ignored it. Later that night, I sat in the driver's seat alone, staring at the dashboard. The smell of the leather, the hum of the engine. It wasn't just a car. It was every hour I'd spent mowing lawns, bussing tables, scrubbing dishes. Every dollar I'd saved while Jason threw money at parties. I whispered to myself, they can laugh at me all they want. I earned this. The next morning at school, Jason was leaning on his locker, a crowd of girls around him. His smile was the kind that made you want to punch him. Nice ride yesterday, he called across the hall. Didn't know your dad finally bought you something decent. I kept walking, but Emily squeezed my arm. He worked for it, Jason? Not that you'd know what that means, Jason smirked. Worked for it? Cute. You sure he didn't steal it? Back off, I snapped. The crowd giggled. Jason leaned in closer. Relax, man. I'm just saying, it's a sweet car. Might take it for a spin sometime. Emily laughed nervously and my stomach twisted. When Jason walked away, I whispered, Why'd you laugh? It was just a joke, she said quickly. Don't overreact. It's never just a joke with him. She touched my shoulder. Mark, you can't fight every battle. He's not worth it, maybe she was right. But I could see the way her eyes lingered as Jason disappeared down the hall. That night, I told Chris about it. She laughed. I muttered, pacing my room. She laughed at his stupid joke. Chris leaned against the wall. I told you, man. She likes the attention. She loves that car, maybe even more than she loves you. That's not true, I said, though doubt tugged at me. Then ask yourself this. Chris said softly, if you didn't have the car, would she still be here? His words stung because I didn't know the answer. The next day, Emily slid into the passenger seat with a smile. Ready to turn some heads. I gripped the wheel, forcing a grin. Yeah, let's go. As we drove past the school, people stared, just like she said. She waved at them like royalty, soaking up the spotlight. See? She whispered. Everyone wishes they were us. But in that moment, I wasn't sure they wished they were me. I parked my car near the bleachers, heart racing. Tonight was supposed to be the night I surprised Lily with the sports car. I wanted her to see me differently, not just as the quiet guy in the back of class. I spotted her across the parking lot, standing under the dim light. She wasn't alone. Lily? I whispered to myself, but my voice caught in my throat. She was leaning against my car, laughing at something Jason, the so-called king of the school, had just said. His smug grin made my stomach churn. I stepped closer, careful not to make a sound. "Nice ride," Jason said, running his hand along the hood. "Right? I didn't know you had a car like this," Lily replied, her voice full of admiration. My blood froze. She thought it was his, Jason smirked. "What can I say? I've got good taste." I clenched my fists so tight my nails dug into my palms. How dare he? Then it happened. Jason leaned in and Lily didn't pull away. Their lips met right there against my car. My car. I felt like the ground split open beneath me. "No," I muttered, but my voice was lost in the night. She giggled softly after the kiss. "I knew there was a reason everyone calls you the school hunk. You even drive like a movie star," Jason chuckled. "Glad you noticed." I stumbled back, every nerve in my body on fire. The girl I thought I knew, the one I trusted, was kissing another guy while believing his lies. I wanted to scream, to tell her the truth right then and there. But instead I stood frozen, hidden in the shadows. Jason pulled out his phone. "Want to take a spin?" Her eyes sparkled. "You mean it?" "Of course." He dangled the keys he had swiped earlier from the cafeteria table where I'd left them. My chest tightened. My girlfriend was about to ride off with him in my car, kissing him, touching him, all while thinking he owned it. The betrayal wasn't just in the kiss, it was in her blind excitement, her eagerness to believe he was everything I wasn't. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. As the engine roared to life, my world went silent. I whispered to myself, "She has no idea, but soon. She will." The next morning, the whole school buzzed like a hornet's nest. I didn't even make it to first period before whispers followed me down the hallway. "Did you hear? Rachel was in Tyler's car last night." "No, not Tyler's, some fancy sports car, looked like a Mustang. Maybe Tyler's dad bought it for him." I kept my head down, clutching my books tighter. That was my car they were talking about. My pride, my dream. The only thing I worked nights and weekends to afford, but none of them knew. They just assumed the golden boy, the school's favorite athlete, owned it. When I pushed open my locker, Jason, my best friend, leaned against the wall. He smirked, but not at me, more like he was trying to hide frustration. "Man," he said, "you better tell me you didn't let Rachel ride around with Tyler in your car." I clenched my jaw. "She thought it was his." Jason's eyebrows shot. I couldn't sleep that night. I sat at my desk, staring at my phone, the glow of the screen reflecting off the car keys in my hand. My car wasn't just a car, it was my weapon now. Jason called around midnight. "So what's the plan?" I hesitated, then said, "If Rachel and Tyler want to play games, I'll give them the stage." Jason chuckled. "Dangerous. I like it." The next day, I made sure to park my car right in front of the school entrance, a prime spot where everyone could see. Tyler strutted past with Rachel hanging on his arm, and she looked at the car like it was some prize trophy. "Nice ride, man," one of Tyler's buddies said. Tyler grinned, not correcting him. "Yeah, it's a beauty." My blood boiled, but I stayed silent. Jason leaned close to me. "You gonna let him steal your thunder like that?" "Not yet," I said. "Patience." At lunch, Rachel whispered to me, panic in her eyes. "Why are you doing this?" "You're making me look stupid." I stared at her. "You did that all on your own." Her lips trembled, but she said nothing. That evening, I set the real trap. I posted on social media, just a casual picture of me leaning on the hood of my car with the caption, "Hard work pays off." No bragging, no names, just me in the car. Within minutes, the comments exploded. "Wait, that's your car?" "No way, thought it was Tyler's." "Bro, respect." "That's sick," Rachel didn't comment. Tyler didn't either. But I knew they saw it. The next day, the tension was thick enough to choke on. Tyler avoided me in the hall, and Rachel kept trying to pull me aside. Finally, she cornered me near the gym. "Why are you doing this?" "You're making Tyler look bad." I laughed bitterly. "Oh, so it's about making him look bad." "What about me, Rachel? You didn't care when you were in my car, kissing him like I didn't exist." Her eyes filled with tears. "I made a mistake, okay?" But it was too late for apologies. The school had started to connect the dots. Whispers were turning into full-blown conversations. Tyler's golden boy image had cracks now, and Rachel's perfect girlfriend mask was slipping. Jason nudged me later. "You know this is only the beginning, right?" "Exactly," I said. "The beginning of the end for both of them." By Friday, the cafeteria was buzzing louder than ever. My post had spread everywhere and people were questioning Rachel openly. "Didn't you say that was Tyler's car? Thought you two were in it the other night." Rachel tried to laugh it off, but her voice shook. Tyler, on the other hand, doubled down. He swaggered over to my table, smirk plastered on his face. "Cute picture you posted," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "But let's be real. You probably just borrowed that car for a night." I set down my tray and looked him dead in the eye. "Borrowed it? Why don't we settle this right now?" The room went silent. Jason grinned. "Here we go." I pulled the keys out of my pocket and tossed them onto the table. The sound echoed like a gunshot. "Let's see who the car listens to." A chorus of gasps filled the cafeteria. Tyler's smirk faltered, but he picked up the keys anyway. "Fine," he said, strutting toward the exit. The whole cafeteria followed us like a parade. Outside, the car gleamed under the sun. Tyler pressed the unlock button. Nothing happened. He tried again, pressing harder, his face growing red. Still nothing. "Maybe you're holding it wrong," I said loudly, stepping closer. I took the keys from his hand and pressed the button. The car beeped instantly, headlights flashing. The crowd erupted. "No way!" "Damn, it's his car." "Tyler's been lying this whole time?" Rachel covered her mouth, eyes wide in horror. Tyler tried to laugh it off. "Okay, so maybe it's his car. Big deal." "Big deal?" I repeated, my voice shaking with fury. "You let everyone believe it was yours. And you," I turned to Rachel, "you kissed him in my car, thinking it was his. Do you know how humiliating that was for me?" Her face turned pale. She reached for me, but I stepped back. The crowd wasn't laughing anymore. They were whispering, judging, enjoying the drama unfold. Jason clapped me on the shoulder. "Guess the truth always comes out." I looked at Rachel and Tyler, both frozen, both exposed. And for the first time all week, I felt the power shift in my favor. But I also knew this wasn't over. Humiliation was just the beginning. The Monday after the reveal, walking into school felt different. Heads turned, whispers swirled, and for once they weren't about me. They were about Tyler and Rachel. "Did you see his face when the car didn't unlock?" Rachel looked like she wanted to disappear. Man, that was brutal. I should have felt satisfied. I should have walked down those halls with my chest out. Instead, I felt this strange mix of anger and emptiness. Because the truth was, my humiliation still happened. Rachel still chose him, and the image of her lips on his in my car was burned into me like fire on skin. Jason caught up with me, grinning like a proud coach. "Dude, you demolished him." "That was legendary." "Yeah," I muttered. "What's wrong? This is what you wanted." "Not enough," I said under my breath. At lunch, Tyler tried to play it cool, but the cracks showed. His friends teased him about borrowing cars and borrowing girlfriends, and his fists clenched so tight his knuckles went white. Rachel sat across from me, eyes watery. "Can we talk, please?" she whispered. Jason raised an eyebrow, but I nodded. I followed her outside, where the cold air bit at my skin. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, voice trembling. "Doing this?" I laughed bitterly. "Rachel, you did this to yourself." I was confused, she said, wringing her hands. "Tyler's popular, everyone likes him, and I thought—" "You thought his car made him better than me." I cut her off. "That was enough to throw me away?" Her eyes filled with tears. "It was a mistake. I still care about you." I stepped closer, anger burning. "You humiliated me in front of the whole school. Do you think a few tears will fix that?" She flinched. "I just want things to go back to normal." I shook my head. "There's no going back. Not after this." When I walked away, leaving her crying against the wall, part of me felt cruel. But another part of me felt free. That night, Tyler tried to reclaim control. He posted a picture of himself flexing with his buddies, captioned, "Haters gonna hate." But the comments betrayed him. "Where's your car, bro?" "Careful, someone might take your girl again." "Not such a hunk now, huh?" His pride was cracking, and I was the one swinging the hammer. Still, late at night, staring at my ceiling, I realized revenge didn't erase pain. It only fueled it. The next week was chaos. Tyler's perfect image shattered piece by piece. Teachers who once praised him now sighed at his arrogance. His teammates whispered behind his back. Even his closest friends started drifting away. Jason filled me in daily. They're eating him alive, man. Karma's feasting, but Rachel, she became a ghost. She stopped sitting at our table, stopped smiling in the halls. Every time I saw her, her eyes were red, and guilt clung to her like a shadow. One afternoon, she cornered me by my car again. "I miss you," she said softly. I clenched my jaw. "You miss the idea of me." "Not me," she shook her head. "No, I miss you. Tyler doesn't even look at me anymore. He says I ruined his reputation. He blames me," I almost laughed. "No, you know how it feels to be discarded." Her lip trembled. "Can't you forgive me?" I stared at her, searching for the girl I once loved. But all I saw was someone who traded loyalty for status and lost both. "No," I said finally. "You chose him over me. That choice doesn't get undone." She burst into tears, but I didn't stay to comfort her. I slid into my car and drove away, leaving her sobs behind me. Later, Jason said, "You're cold, man." "Cold," I muttered. She was colder when she kissed him right in front of me. The truth was, I wasn't cold. I was burning. Every memory of Rachel, every moment we shared felt poisoned. And no matter how much Tyler's downfall amused me, the bitterness still stuck in my throat. That night I sat in my car, staring at the wheel. "What do I want now?" I whispered to myself. Revenge had been sweet, but it wasn't enough. What I wanted was freedom. Freedom from her. From him, from the cage they'd built around me. And for the first time, I thought maybe I was finally ready to let go. Graduation came faster than I expected. By then, the school's golden boy had turned into a cautionary tale. Tyler barely made it to the ceremony, his ego battered and his fan club gone. Rachel sat alone, eyes downcast, no longer the queen she used to be. Me? I walked in with my head high. Jason slapped me on the back. "You survived hell, man. Now you're the one shining." I smiled faintly. But deep inside, I knew it wasn't about shining. It was about surviving the storm and learning to stand tall again. When my name was called, the applause wasn't deafening, but it was real, genuine. For the first time, I didn't feel like the shadow in someone else's story. I was the main character of my own. After the ceremony, Rachel approached me one last time. She held out a letter, her hands shaking. "I just want you to read this," she whispered. "You don't have to forgive me. But please just know I'm sorry." I took the letter, but I didn't open it. Not yet. Tyler passed by, muttering something under his breath, but I didn't care anymore. His words, his arrogance, his betrayal, they had no power over me now, Jason grinned. "So what's next?" I looked at my car parked outside the stadium, sunlight gleaming off the hood. That car had been the scene of my worst humiliation, but also the stage for my rise. "What's next?" I repeated, smiling. "Whatever I want." That night I sat alone in my car, engine humming softly. I unfolded Rachel's letter, expecting excuses. Instead, it was raw regret. She admitted she was shallow, blinded by Tyler's fake charm, and that losing me was the biggest mistake she'd ever made. For a long time, I just sat there staring at her words. Did it change anything? No, but it gave me something else. Closure. I whispered to myself, her mistake doesn't define me. It defines her. And with that, I started the engine, rolled down the windows, and drove into the night. The road stretched out ahead of me, endless and open. For the first time, I wasn't driving away from something. I was driving toward my future,